Hey, how's it going? What's going on? Let's take a look at a comic. It's going to be another Lev Gleason comic here tonight. This is our second in a row. Our last video, we took a look at Daredevil, and today we're going to take a look at Boy Illustories, or as it's more commonly known, Boy Comics. Have we looked at this comic already? Gosh, did we talk about this or something? Maybe I did this on Four Color Fossils. I don't know, but I've talked about this. I hope I'm not repeating. Anyway, let's just keep going. We're looking at Boy Comics from number 48 from October 1949. This is going to be just like what we have done in the past. This is, I guess we'll call this a comic spotlight. I read this comic in the past, but I didn't pre-read this comic for this video. That way, when I open it and look at it, I'll be just as surprised as you are at how cool it is or how not cool it is. Let's begin with the cover. Boy, a full-size 52-page mag, no skimping. PDC ID, Boy Illustories, October number 48, and it's 10 cents. And that's Crime Buster right there. He's the hero of this comic. He's beautifully illustrated by Charles Biro and written by Charles Biro. This is one of the Lev Gleason two big adventure mags. Daredevil Comics and Boy Comics. It is a crime adventure mystery title, but mainly crime, but it's also adventure mystery, but it's crime, just like Daredevil, like we looked at last time. This is Crime Buster. His name even has crime in it, and his sidekick is a simian. He's a monkey. His name is Squeaks. Conforms to the comics code. It's 1949. There isn't a comics code. What does that even mean? I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's 1949. It's published by Lev Gleason. It's written and drawn mostly by Charles Biro, but the other art in here is going to be our other guy, Norman Maurer, who's really good. Bob Wood, I don't think he's doing anything in this comic. All right, let's check out what's going on the cover. CB in 2 complete stories. You're doing fine, Squeaks. Don't get trapped in there. Jump through a side window. Okay, so Squeaks, I talked about this before in some sort of another video, but we're not going to, that was just briefly. We're going to open this thing up and look through it. We're going to figure this all out, and maybe you've never seen a Boy comic before, and you don't know anything about Crime Buster or Squeaks, and so we're going to be delving into it all together. So, Squeaks, it's another circus cover, just like that Daredevil we looked at last night. Squeaks is trying to lure a tiger into this circus cage or carriage or whatever this is, and then he's going to jump out the side window if he listens to what Crime Buster is telling him. Down here we see that this is a Charles Biro cover. It is a Lev Gleason publication, a comic produced with integrity. You see that? Who is the villain who loosed the wild beasts in a circus on a peaceful city? How will Crime Buster and Squeaks face this desperate situation where violent death threatens everyone? See inside. I love violent death threatening everyone. Reduce fat up to 5 pounds a week, yet eat plenty. Is this chewing gum? Is it a laxative? No, it says no laxative, no starving, no exercise, no drugs, no massage. It's also not Lev Gleason. A lot of times these ads, he's going to try and... Anyway, excuse me. Anyway, this isn't an ad for a child. This harmonica, I can see a kid wanting this, but $1.69? Yeesh. You'd have to save up for 6 months' allowance for that. Boy Illustories, published bi-monthly at this point. Okay. I thought it would have been monthly. Published bi-monthly. It's October 1949. Number 48, Volume 1. Okay, let's get to work. We have, we're just not even 5 minutes in, so we can get some stuff done here, guys. Okay, this is a thing that I noticed that Biro does. He does like a what is this, a 2/3 splash page. So he gives us a splash page that is going to be like a scene from the show, a scene from the comic we're going to come to later, I think. But at the beginning, and he gives it to us in a 2/3 of the page, is the most exciting part of the story. CB. Don't you love that? It just says CB. That stands for Crime Buster. He's just telling us this is Crime Buster. We're reading the Crime Buster story. We got to get going. This is 52 pages. Story by Charles Byro. Art by Norman Maurer. Duck, Jimmy. Pin yourself against the rock as if it were flypaper. He's a maniac. And check it out. So this guy, what is he doing? So first of all, it's a grown man. He looks to have a briefcase that's tied to his belt loop. He's got a giant rock. That's a very heavy rock. He's holding it and it's shaky. But look, Squeaks, I'm telling you, Squeaks is coming to save the day as always. He's coming in from behind with his own rock. Down here we got CB and then this kid, I guess his name is Jimmy. All right, this story is about a good guy and a bad guy. The fact that they are brothers is coincidental. Of all evil traits, greed is the most prevalent. Webster describes it as desire beyond reason, which would indicate that greed is a mild form of insanity, although the havoc and tragedy that it brings upon mankind is by no means mild. Almost all felonies can be traced to this human failing. This story will dramatize the vicious extremes to which a man can go who is infected by this venom. Charles Byro. Remember how I think I talked about this last night? I've been talking about, for some reason I'm on a Lev Gleason kick again. You know, I've been collecting these for about 10 years, but then now I've just started vocalizing it and sharing it because nobody else seems to care about this stuff. So I'm telling you guys all about it. The art's beautiful. The writing's outstanding. But this guy is a morality guy. Did you read that? Okay. It's interesting because he's a heavy drinker and a partier, and he makes a lot of money, and he lives in a penthouse. I'm not kidding. He really does. They're doing really well. Maybe not at this point, but pretty close. I mean, they're doing well because it's such a small shop. I talked about this last night. It's a very small shop, and he's in charge. This is just the front office guy and the big boss. But he's responsible, really, for the success of Crime Does Not Pay and these other titles. He's writing them all and handling them all. This is just his friend who's kind of a hanger-on, who causes a lot of trouble later on. But he's doing everything, and he's interesting. He's an interesting character. We're going to find out more about him just by reading these comics and figuring out what it's all about. Come on, Jimmy. Bring Tim in from third. Jimmy, for goodness sake, come into the house. It's nearly supper time. Look at the beauty of this. So it's kind of Eisner-like. It also looks a little bit to me like, it always has reminded me of these things. So, Maurer under Byro, or Byro alone, to me is a combination of a couple different people. To me, he's a combination of Will Eisner and Lee Elias. You'll see what I mean. We're not going to read everything. We're just going to go flying through. Now, this is Norman Maurer's artwork, but this is all, as I mentioned before, it's really Byro who's directing and telling him how he wants this stuff drawn and how it's supposed to look. Because this is Byro's style, and you'll see other stuff that's done by Byro that looks very similar to this. This is what he wants. This is how he wants it to look, and it's good. And in a way, even though it's a crime story that's supposed to be written for kids, and the panel layout is a little bit different, and the lettering is definitely different, and the coloring is different, what you're looking at here is similar to EC. It really, to me, when you look at it from a distance, this looks to me like a couple different guys that worked for EC, doesn't it? It's really good stuff, you guys. Like, look, we got to read this. Okay. Gosh, look out. Pow. Crash. I'll get you, you little vandals. Run, Bob, run. Lucky number 13. Jeez, Bob. I didn't do it on purpose. Honest, I'm sorry. Ouch! Oh, ow, let me go. You're hurting me. Slap. Jimmy, stop him. Stop it. Give it to him, Peters. The nasty little brat belongs in jail. Look at the Peters, the chauffeur, is beating the crap out of this kid. So here comes Jimmy. Leave him alone. He grabs a handful of lapel. He's got him by the lapel grab. And then I guess he lets go of the lapel grab and then throws a right? That seems odd. There now, Bob. Did he hurt you? Are you all right? I guess so. I didn't do it on purpose, Jimmy. You struck Peters. How dare you? You must be out of your mind. You see a little Lee Elias? Maybe not so much Eisner. Maybe just this. Not much though, I guess. Maybe I'm off my coop. But you see what I'm saying. I mean, does this look chintzy and cheesy to you? Maybe it does. It doesn't to me. This looks like high quality, well made comics when I look at this. Look at the everything about this. I like the whole package, including things like the binding and the heft of the paper, and it's nicely made. It's just long winded. Anything by Charles Biro, just the covers. Like we're gonna go into some videos in the future where we're gonna look through the whole collection and we're gonna look at the covers, and it might take multiple videos just to go through the whole collection because there's so much reading just on the covers alone. So let's just go off on a tangent. You know, this is a story of a man named Charles Biro. Uncle Charlie, Charlie Biro. We don't know all that much about him. All we know is what I've pieced together. All I know, maybe you know more. I'm no expert, just an enthusiast. But Charlie Biro is a man who I surmise loved to read. He loved to read as a boy, and he dreamed of writing. And he began writing in high school. And then he never stopped. Eventually, he met a man named Lev Gleason, who was interested in making a comic book. Charlie said, I'll help you with that, Lev. And the comic book was a success because it had Adolf Hitler's face on it. It was kind of not even a cartoon drawing of Adolf Hitler. It's like a photoshopped picture of it. Look it up. Daredevil #1 from July of 1941. So that comic was very successful. And then Lev said, Charlie, will you keep making comic books for me? And Charlie said, sure, Lev. Will you keep paying me? And Lev said, yes, as long as you keep making successful comics. As a matter of fact, I'll give you a percentage, or we'll work something out so that if the comics that you make for me, Charlie, are so successful that they make me rich, I'll make you rich too. And that's what happened. Look at how beautiful this is. This chick is cool. She's creepy looking. Here's CB. He's tough. Doesn't have any superpowers. Doesn't have an actual costume. He walks around in sweats and his underwear on the outside of the sweats. And then he has a hockey jersey and a scowl. He's got a homemade cape and a pet monkey. No superpowers. He's just an orphan. He's like Bruce Wayne before the training. I think that's what this is. So if I remember right, CB's parents were murdered tragically by criminals, just like Bruce Wayne. But CB is only 15 and he's like been through like boys' reformatories and stuff like that. But now he is reformed. I believe this is his origin story. And he is like, you can see what's going on here. It's all good. What's happening here? You know, it's hard to fool kids. They have a sixth sense about people. Those kids make me feel more than ever that there's more to this case than we've found out. Now, CB, don't start worrying over that Cleary guy. If ever there was an open and shut case, this is it. Okay, so this is the kind of stuff. Remember how I said it reminded me of Eisner in a bit? So here's the part of it that reminds me of Eisner, but it also reminds me of Batman, which is all stuff that Biro would have already read. Okay, so CB, he's a consultant to the police. He's a 15-year-old fake superhero. Well, he's a real superhero, but he's not super. He's a hero. He's a crime buster, and the police rely on him. They trust him. They believe his insight and outlook has weight. Look at how great this stuff is. I think it's great. So Charlie liked to write, and Lev said, I'll pay you. And so after Daredevil, I don't know what came next, but let's see. Does it show the names of the titles down here? Sometimes it has their titles. No, it's not there. Maybe it'll be some. Well, this is early. This is 49. So maybe they only have a couple titles in 1949. They have Boy and they have Daredevil. I don't know if Crime Does Not. I don't remember what year Crime Does Not Pay starts. Doesn't this look exciting and beautifully drawn? Remember how I told you also it's a quality book. This is heavy, nice heavy paper. 52 pages for 10 cents, one thin dime, and it's going to take you an hour to read this or more. It's going to take us at least a half hour just to get through it. We're not even reading it. So every time CB goes back to the detective's office or something, they always have an American flag in the background. Are you noticing this? Oh, here we come to the end. Okay. This is what we want to see. Here's the action. Let's just jump in right here. You're not getting away this time. No, don't, Jim, don't. So CB kicks the, oh, we didn't, are we going to get to the rock scene? We might. Are we going to get to the rock scene? Okay, from the splash page. Let's get him, Jim. Now, so he kicks the gun out of this kid's hand, and then he's got Squeaks right behind him. Innocent men don't run. Tell me the truth, Jim. Did you steal the money or did he? He did. He promised to take care of my family if I protect him. He had me in a spot, and I was fool enough to believe him. Watch your step. One slip and it'll be curtains. Hikers, danger zone. Do not climb beyond this point. State Department of Parks. They'll never catch me. Never. Duck, Jim. Rocks are coming down. Keep back under the overhang. If he tosses a rock from there, we're finished. Squeak. Okay, that's definitely Squeaks. No overhang will protect them. I'll throw this so it lands squarely on their skulls. This is a child's comic. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Wham! He hits him in the back of the head with like a grapefruit-sized rock. Hey, you up there, it's against the law to... And CB has scaled the rock by this time. Now he's going to whoop some ass. See? You'll never take me alive. Whoa, he's grabbing him by the throat, and then he's getting ready to hit CB, but they must be lunatics. We have this silhouette thing, and that looks like he pushed him down off the... Looks like he pushed Crimebuster down off the ledge. And he's running off into the cave with the money. It looks like he's planning to stay there. I better get help to dig him out. Hello down there. We've got a criminal trapped up here, but he's holed up in a cave. Got any tear gas bombs? It's CB. We sure have. We'll be right up. The cops are just like, it's CB. This'll bring him out. They're throwing some tear gas in the cave. Whatever's in that bag must be pretty important for him to hang on to it like that. It's mine, all mine. Ah! His eyes are burning from the tear gas. We've booked your brother on embezzlement charges. The old charge you were sentenced for, and a new one besides. He was running off with all the available money of his firm when you caught him, and the insurance company asked me to present you with this reward, a check for $20,000. And don't forget the other surprise, Louver. Jim, oh darling, we'll all be together again. Daddy, oh Daddy, pick me up. Pick you up? I'll never let you out of my sight again. Hello, Mrs. Cleary. Can Jim come out and play ball with us? Jim, you must have the magic of the Pied Piper. Wherever you go, the boys all know you're their friend. We'll be right out, boys. He'll be right out, boys. The end. And he's reading the funny papers. Oh, Uncle Charlie Biro. Nutty Nauticals. Oh, this stuff is great, you guys. I don't know if you think this is cool. Maybe you don't. This is not a comic that anybody would like. It doesn't have any superheroes in it. There's no monsters or horror or anything. It's just kids solving crimes and kicking ass and sometimes getting pushed off ledges or getting rocks thrown at their heads, or they have sentient pet monkeys that are able to perform all kinds of acts of heroism. This is cool. Really cool. No one should be without an electric eel. Hi, Otto. Any luck? I told you the lobsters were biting. Do you ever feel that you were being followed? People are always leaving stuff on the beach. Okay, that's enough. I mean, it wasn't really that funny. Was any of it funny? I know that my readings weren't funny. Jumping jacks, walking dolls. What's the name of number 3? Jumping jacks, walking dolls. Huh, I don't see the name. I was curious about that one. All Roosevelt sets. Why save stamps? Famous Eccentrics by Claude Moore. Simeon Stylites sat on the top of a column at Thebes for over 30 years. That was 365 AD. Day and night looking for God. It's interesting. It's like those people that used to like skate at the top of like poles and platforms and stuff in the 1930s and 40s. Like on the top of Holman's department store, there used to be a person that skated on the top of a platform. I don't know if you guys knew that. Edward Montague, 1751. More wigs made of wire. His iron wigs contained not one single hair. They were made especially for him because he wanted to be different. So he had a wig made of wire. What's going on about this Nero thing? I think Grotto was just telling me about the grottos and the word grotesque and that it came from Nero. Nero, emperor from Rome, built a palace with a dome of precious sapphire supported on columns of pure crystal with floors of the finest marble and walls of pure gold. His gold cloth robes cost 4 million sesterces, which is $200,000 each in 1949, and were thrown away after one wearing. Wow, I didn't know about that. That reminds me of a lot of modern day North American politicians, especially Democrats. There's particular ones that, even though they're public servants, they own multiple beachfront homes and they make millions and millions of dollars and millions and millions and millions of dollars on insider trading and book deals and traveling to other countries to give speeches or maybe even just go to a conference and talk for 10 minutes and then make like $800,000. Seems suspicious, and it reminds me of that Nero guy. Fire your own V2 model rocket. That looks exciting and fun and potentially dangerous. Jet propulsion. A lot of ads in this one. Is this like the 3rd page? What's going on? So we had this thing, the Nutty Nauticals. Got an ad. We got some filler. Got a rocket ad, and now we got some toys. Which one shall we send you? I don't want any of this stuff. What is this? This rubber mask was kind of introducing the new sensation of rubber masks. It all looks dirty to me. You know what I mean? It all looks grimy. Just from the ad, it just looks grimy to me. Just nuts. Okay, Tony, cut. Boy, this is not good. Get moving, bub. One more. Let's try the fish. What nasty weather. It's raining again. This is awful. Awful. Terrible. Thank God we get more CB. Thank God Squeaks is coming to the rescue. CB, story by Charles Byrow. We don't know who the art is. Oh, no, it's Al Borth. So Al Borth is good. So this is Al Borth. He's really, really good. He drew for Treasure Chest. A lot of his, and that's kind of, I would say that there's more than a coincidence that Al Borth and Norman Moore, the two guys that draw for Charlie Byrow, also draw for Treasure Chest, which is a Catholic comic book. It's a completely moralistic, religious comic, and Charlie Byrow he uses 2 of the artists that do that comic. It's a really good comic. I collect those too. And you're like, what? You collect religious comics? Well, wait till you see what Treasure Chest looks like. We'll be doing Treasure Chest in the future. Some of it's pretty good. What's going on in the splash page? Help! There's so much going on here. Okay, this is the one from the cover. There's the tiger, and there's a leopard, there's Squeaks. There's some other monkeys, too, on the street lamps. There's so much here, and then there's a giraffe. Let's go for it again. A wonderful American tradition, one of the oldest, happiest, and most colorful, is the circus. There you will see top hats as well as tattered capes, the oldsters and the youngsters, laughing and screaming with excitement. It's hard to realize that sometimes behind the curtains of this joyous and colorful spectacle, there are scenes very unlike the antics of the artists. There are many heavy problems the circus management has to cope with. Sometimes they seem hopeless. This is a story of loyalty and treachery. This is a story of loyalty and treachery under the big top. Charles Biro. Man, he loves to write and he's so good at it. So let's get back to Charlie. Charlie loved to write, and I think he found his home in comics. I don't know what he did after comics, after this dried up. We've only got a few minutes left in the video, so let's just thumb through and see if we can appreciate what this stuff looks like. We went through some pages that weren't that great, and Al Borth's work here doesn't look as good as it looks as I've seen it in Treasure Chest. It's definitely not looking like Moorer looks. And, well, maybe it's improving a little bit here, but, I don't know. Maybe I was wrong about saying that Biro was doing all those layouts to make everything look the same, because maybe in 1949 he wasn't completely doing that yet, because this doesn't look like the stuff that comes later where it all looks alike. This looks looser, and look at the camera. It's wide as opposed to what we're used to seeing when it comes to reading Charlie Biro stuff, where everything seems to be closer, but I don't know. Maybe that's just lacking detail. There's something different about it. But let's keep moving. We don't have that much time left in the video, but we are coming to the end of the comic, but we're getting to the action. So she's crying because the lion got shot. There's another, now the tiger's attacking. And her dad got mauled and killed by the tiger. There's CB in the commissioner's office again, as always, or the lieutenant's office or whatever. Here's the scene with Squeaks from the cover. Squeak, squeak, squeak. Brack. That's the sound of him making a raspberry. That's what that is. Look at Squeaks. You're doing fine, Squeaks, but don't get trapped in there. Jump through a side window. We've heard that line before. I think I've read it about 6 times by now. I've been saying it multiple times in the past week reading the cover of this. Wait, what? Okay, he did it. I missed that. Okay, so I'm just kind of tripping because I'm looking at the time. All right, so CB closed it, slammed it, trapped the lion in there. Jeepers, Squeaks, I was afraid you wouldn't win that race. Don't take such chances, you little dope. Now, let's see if we can round up some of the animals who have gotten away. We'll get another truck. So long and good luck, Squeaks. Squeak, squeak. Okay, so now we got a little adventure. Squeaks is going to try and go and round up all these other monkeys, and then CB is going to confront this evil clown. Maybe he's going to punch him or something. This looks nothing like the Borth that I've seen when Borth draws Treasure Chest. What's his name? He draws that little fat kid that's really good. I forget his name. The Champ. His name is the Champ. This old guy's kind of cool looking. So, really, what have we gotten in here? We got 2 full Crime Buster stories. Let's go over this as we come to the end. So what does he say on the cover? He tells us a full-size 52-page mag, no skimping. Let's see what we get. So we get a full Crime Buster story in here. It's probably 12 or 16 or 20 pages. The first, it's really, that's a long story. So we get that solid, good story at the beginning with the guy trying to brain them with the rock over the ledge, and then Squeak smacking him in the head with the grapefruit-sized rock. We get this unfunny part. We get the ads. We get a kind of interesting, dangerous, creepy, and grimy, terrible, unfunny. Good story, it seemed, but not that great because it's got Frank or Al Borth, and Al Borth in here does not look that good to me. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Am I thinking of Frank Borth? Are there two Borths? Is there an Al Borth and a Frank Borth? The name just came to me. I might be completely off base on this. I'll have to look into it. The second story doesn't look as good. You can get this giant spider. It's just imitation, though. At first, I thought you could send away for a tarantula, which is what we really want. This is your page. What's on your mind? I wish we had more time for this, but we're gonna we got to go because we're at 31 minutes right now, and I wish we had more time. But let's just go really, really quick. Dear reader, to every issue of Boy Comics, this page is devoted to your opinion, ideas, and suggestions. Charles Byro and Bob Wood. I have just finished your latest issue of Boy, and I wanted to write to tell you how wonderful I think this magazine is. It teaches an excellent lesson and serves as an example for every boy and girl. Zanola Drawn, Cleveland, Ohio. Your Boy magazine helps to fight juvenile delinquency. For instance, I used to be the tough guy on my block, but then I started to read Boy. It set me on the right path. I think for now, I'm a Boy Scout. HC from Brooklyn. I read Boy every month because of its interesting stories, realistic drawings, and high ideals. Recently, our club unanimously voted Boy and your other magazines, Daredevil, Crime Does Not Pay, Crime and Punishment, and Black Diamond, the best on the stands. Malcolm Collier, Detroit, Michigan. Whenever I see a magazine with Charles Byro's name on it, I'm sure to buy it, although Boy is my special favorite. My father reads Boy along with me, and we haven't missed one issue yet. We keep them in a wooden album that my father built for them so that they won't be ruined and so that when my friends come over, they can get to them easily. Thanks for a wonderful magazine. Mickey LaBianca, Ozone Park, New York. You may be surprised to receive a letter from the far-off Philippines, but as one of your many fans, I would like to congratulate you for publishing such a fine magazine as Boy. The sisters here at our college recommend Boy for its fine moral lessons and educational value. Teodora Eugenio, Manila, Philippines. I have read Boy Comics for 3 years now, and find each issue sincere, honest, and an excellent way to teach children that crime doesn't pay. I congratulate Charles Byro for his fine stories. Don Thigi, Horseheads, New York. I have a collection of 500 magazines, but I enjoy Boy Comics the best. My mother reads it whenever I praise some particular issue, but my dad is a steady fan and enjoys Boy as much as I do. Beth Sims, Salmon, Idaho. I teach a Sunday school class and use Boy Comics as a guide and moral lesson for the boys and girls who attend. I advise them all to read it, and they thoroughly enjoy it because it is the kind of lesson that they understand. Mrs. G.D. Gladstone, Durham, North Carolina.